Hi, Bill. Hi, Julie. Hello, Mr. Terry.
Hey, Barbara.
How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Very good.
You had a chance to see my note?
I was just looking it over before I opened the meeting. The one that we're going to read into the minutes?
That was requested to be read into the minutes.
Yes. Yes. Got that in front of me. I think Dick has it as well, but just to make sure I have it in front of me as well.
Yeah. As I noted in my comments, there's some inaccuracies in it. And I provided the reference from the state as to what is required, which is in direct conflict with what is stated by the individual for Airbnb.
Right. I just think we need to set a standard of fact that they either need to come up with some kind of certification. So an email or whatever. We can discuss
Yep.
again, but yeah. Okay. Hi, Julie Atwell. There we go.
John Allen here.
Hi, John.
Hi, Barb. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Awesome. Fantastic.
Hi, Barb. Pat Kelly here. I'm on.
Thanks, Pat.
Is this meeting being recorded?
Yes, it is, Hank. No technical difficulties today.
Great.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. This is Will Reisig. I'm going to be recording the minutes for this meeting in place of Gloria Hutchings. So I'll probably be muted for most of the meeting, but just know that I am taking notes and I will get the minutes out as soon as possible after the meeting.
Thanks, Will.
Not a problem.
Still waiting on Mr. Bennett here.
What's the lower house down there? Doesn't that kind of look like this one? Oriented a little different, but. There. Hello?
Hello.
Okay.
Yep, we're still on, just waiting for Dick to come on.
Afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Chief.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
No complaints.
Very good. I am going to put you on mute until we address your item number on the agenda.
Terrific. I'll wait patiently.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Afternoon, Mr. Bennett. Hold on one second. I believe I need to, there we go. Dick, are you on?
I think so.
There you are, sir.
Hi.
Hello. I believe we
So,
are ready to start. Hank,
okay.
Hank, did you have a question? If anyone does have a question during the meeting, they can use the chat and I will keep an eye on that and answer questions as needed. All
All
right.
right, I'm going to open. All right, I'd like to open the meeting, Selectmen's meeting for August 25th, 2020. It's a Zoom meeting. And the first thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, the August 11th, 2020 meeting.
I will make a motion to approve those minutes.
And I will second.
All right. Moved and seconded. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
John, how do you vote?
Oh, yes.
Bennett, yes. The minutes are approved. Next thing on the agenda is to discuss our meeting format.
So I talked with Julie Atwell about some possibilities, and then I asked Kevin Bennett also to check out how many people we could logistically fit into the select office meeting room. And I think based on the state of the state right now, it still is smart to do these meetings via Zoom. By doing it in the conference room in the select office, we would have about room for about 18 people total. And then in the Whitney Center, we would have room for more, obviously, but then we would also have the cost of moving everything and cleaning and all that after the meeting. So I think we have a better understanding of what our options are, but at this time, I think that we still should continue doing Zoom meetings. But I also do like the fact that we can have video at the same time now. I think that people at least have the option to use video if they want to.
John, how are you feeling about our meeting format?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I know there'd be a bit of cost to get the thing up to speed, especially at the Whitney Center because they have to get it ready for school and
Yeah.
I know staff already pressed to get everything else going. It's just one more thing on their plate. So, you know, it's not the best format, but I think it'll work for at least one more month, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I'd like to keep it going. Where I can see us getting together for a meeting, maybe with Julie Atwell and Julie Hoyt, but I wouldn't be inviting the public in just yet. Going to the Whitney is good. It has space, but we'll have set up, clean up, additional costs that I'm not sure we want to incur to have that face-to-face meeting. So, you know, I think we'll keep kicking it around. We have September to look at any other options that may come up and talk about it. We certainly can use Julie Atwell as a pivot point to express our ideas. So we'll work something out. I'm sure that we'll figure something out pretty soon on how to be more inclusive with our meeting, right? Which I think is good. I would like to do that, but I think I want to keep it as safe as possible, so we'll move along like that.
Sounds good.
All righty. The next agenda item is the discussion of a new police vehicle.
And I am going to unmute Chief Pearlie here.
Uh-oh.
Is there a timer available?
No, we're on our
Funny.
own. I've talked with him enough, and he's doing a really good job of being concise and to the point when he does get airtime. So I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So thank you and good afternoon. I have circulated an email and I hope everybody has seen it. Do you have a question, Barbara?
No, I'm just muting myself because there's a little bit of an echo.
So currently the fleet consists of the 2014 Chevy Tahoe and the 2016 Dodge Ram. The mileage is inverted by age. The Tahoe is the older but has less miles. The reason being is the Dodge Ram truck is the primary patrol vehicle. It's currently sitting at about, when I wrote the email, 98,000. It's probably going to close in on and turn 100,000 within a week and a half. The car, because we are full staff and doing a great job, runs 17 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's the truck. The Tahoe is 8 hours a day, 4 days a week, is the maximum exposure. So we've got a 20,000 mile variance between the two vehicles. Our available funds in the capital reserve, we have $65,190 after the town approved disbursements are collected and put into the various capital reserve funds. So $65,190 for vehicle purchase. And as I understand in the past, that has also accounted for vehicle equipment when there's a new purchase. The associated equipment goes along with a police car. In the event, and this is totally speculative, I don't anticipate this happening, in the event additional costs arose for equipment, the budget line for equipment is currently $7,500 and remains that. We've really cut back on spending because of the pandemic and its effect on tax base. But that's total available monies. I don't anticipate that would be required. My plan is to send out a competitive bid request for what would be described as a police package or SSV, special service vehicle, Dodge Ram 1500. I've talked to the staff. You know, I know the needs of the town. I think another pickup truck gives us the best bang for our buck because they are crew cabs, so you can carry passengers or prisoners, and you can also carry additional equipment. We have a really varied responsibilities and duties in the town because we kind of a standalone agency with like the Swiss Army knife of police departments, and we do need a fairly good sizable amount of storage for stuff, whether it's to pull a vehicle out or emergency equipment or traffic cones or barricades or what have you. And that would also mean that we have 2 vehicles that match in the fleet. So it would actually be a fleet that looks right, which could help us down the road in case there's equipment that has to be replaced from one to the other. The Dodge Ram doesn't change that substantially. The difference from past practice, what I'd like to do, I don't know if you always send out competitive bids. I'd like to do 3. I'd like to send them to Berlin City, Crest, and McDonald Motors. All of them deal in Dodge vehicles. The state bid, what I'm hearing from the other chiefs in New Hampshire is that even if you try to obtain a state bid vehicle, they can't find any because of production slowdowns in Detroit. So we may have to get the next best, closest, like civilian version of a special services vehicle, which means things like heavy duty cooling system, heavy duty alternator, those kind of things, which is not insurmountable. There's nothing magical about a police vehicle. If you drive it and take care of it, it gets you where you need to go, and the policeman does all the work. I have been in contact with Chrysler Fiat for information about the features that are most important in case I'm overlooking anything, and I have to correspond with the national representative tomorrow. He left me a voicemail today, so I got to give him a call tomorrow. What I like to do with the Tahoe is I would like to retain it so that we end up with 3 vehicles, and I'm anticipating for a period of 1 year. What I want to do is then split the patrol miles between the Dodge Ram, the 16, and the Tahoe 14, so that we start to cut in half the incremental mileage on the truck. So that will last a little longer. And that would be, we'd probably change like from 20,000 miles a year to 10 each. So that would build mileage on the Tahoe, which still it takes a licking and keeps on ticking. I'm not a big Chevy guy, but that car has served me very well. And also blend in a newer vehicle to balance out the mileage. That's the problem with 2 vehicles and a busy PD. If you have service or an out-of-town transport or some of the things that tie up the cruiser, you don't have an alternative if you only have the 2 cars, because one may be actually working on patrol and so on and so forth. So that is my plan, and I would love to hear some feedback.
Thank you, Chief. My questions are about keeping the Tahoe mostly. I agree with it. Excuse me, moving ahead with the Dodge Ram as our second vehicle. I wonder about keeping the Tahoe. I think that when we purchased the truck for the fire department, it was going to be the backup safety truck. It could be used for, trips out of town, for other things, for both the police department and the fire department. Now, if that isn't workable, we'll certainly discuss that. I just don't know about, putting the money into keeping a third vehicle on the road. We have 3 good vehicles to keep using. So anyway, that'll be part of the discussion from my end. I'd like to hear from Barbara and John.
I definitely agree with the 3 quotes, Chief, and if not too much trouble, I'd like to take a look at those when you do get them. And then, as Dick said, do you have any idea what the other truck is worth now that we would, if we kept it, would it yield us X number of dollars or would it give us the opportunity to collect an extra $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a trade?
Well, I think whatever the value is of the car, and like I said, I was thinking of getting rid of the Tahoe because it's older, but it has less mileage. If we were going to get rid of a car, I'd keep the truck even though it has half the mileage, and then would flip the usage. I would end up driving the older truck more regularly because I put on less mileage. The guys would share
Mhm.
the newer truck. The dynamic that has happened is because we have great coverage, we are piling on miles faster than what had previously been done or maybe had been anticipated in the capital reserve contributions. Not a huge, not an insurmountable. It's not like doubling. It just can age quicker because the staff does exactly what any town would want their police to do, and that's be out and about and see and be seen. So
Right.
I don't ever want to be in a place where like drive 30 miles and then call it a night and then just wait for a call. I hate those rules. I think they're terrible. You're in a bad place when you're there. But I think both vehicles, the Dodge truck and the Chevy Tahoe, have probably got to their bottom line value. Like if they're not wrecked or substantially broken, their value is not going to decrease substantially in the next year, and they are what they are. So that trading one in, you know, it's obviously trading a vehicle in when you buy a vehicle is going to get you some you know, subsidy on the cost. I wouldn't say it's not going to get you much value. But, or I don't know, maybe the town sold them outright. I don't know. Those traditionally, neither one of those procedures traditionally gets you much money on a police vehicle because it's traditionally assumed that they're been road hard and put away wet, so to speak.
Gotcha. That's all for me then.
I think I guess in summation, the vehicles have a greater use value than they have a resale value, in my opinion.
Mhm. Great. I look forward to seeing the quotes then. That's all for me.
My only thought was, you know, see what the quotes come in. That was, you know, and if they are, you know, higher than we expect or whatever, then, you know, maybe the trade-in might be the way to go. Certainly for a year, I don't think it's a big deal. It's not going to lose a lot of value in a year. I agree on that. So I'm fine with going it, but I'd like to see what the trade-in, what the new price would be, though.
Yes, that's obvious. Yeah, very prudent because we got to know what we're looking at. But like I said, I think we are. I know the fire chief in Conway recently purchased a new car, and he had to do exactly that. He had to buy a civilian model Tahoe because there were no special service units, and he went to Concord, I think, and off the lot he was, you know, the brand new car, and he was well within our margin, and then some. So, but yeah, I completely agree. You got to know what the number is first.
All right, well, I think that's very reasonable. Hopefully the 3 dealerships will get some bids back to us pretty quickly, and we'll take a look at them and then figure out what direction we want to go.
Terrific.
Thank you, Chief.
I will, like I said, I'm going to dialogue with the national rep for Fiat Chrysler tomorrow and get the specs that I need to communicate effectively to the dealerships, and then I'll draft a letter tomorrow and we'll get them sent out so we can get that process started.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Thanks,
All
Chief.
right, any other comments on the police vehicle?
No, thanks, Chief.
Nope.
Okay, then we will move on to the third agenda item, which is the monthly check-in with the Thompson House, who asked for some table space out in front of their house. I haven't heard any complaints. I don't think that it hasn't impacted the roadway or anything, so I don't see any reason why they shouldn't continue with that.
I agree.
Anybody else?
I have no issues.
All righty. Then I think we can let them know that their outside seating is going along just fine. All right, then our next, we have current use applications. And I'm gonna find them. Yes, current use application, I've got them. We have one from the Tilney Revocable Trust, 41.35 acres on Carter Notch Road. They would like to put that land into current use. Our town assessor, Jason Call, recommends approval of that. Any
Need a motion,
discussion?
Dick?
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve that application for current use.
I'll
for
make
the
a
Tilney
motion.
Revocable Trust.
I'll make a motion to approve the Tilney request for current use.
I will second.
All right. John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Barbara?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes.
You get a tax.
We have a current use application from the Elizabeth A. Lloyd Revocable Trust, 46.3 acres at 146 Thornhill Road. Our town assessor has recommended that. Any discussion? And if not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept that current use.
And I'll second.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Barbara?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. All right, that current use application is accepted. So next on our agenda are the requests for charitable exemptions. We have one from New Hampshire Public Radio, wants an exemption as a charitable organization. Historically, this has been approved by the town.
I have no
Discussion?
issues with it.
I don't have any issues.
Yeah, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to
To-
approve them as a charitable organization.
I will second.
Okay, motion is seconded. John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Barbara?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. So a charitable exemption for the New Hampshire Public Radio has been approved. Second one is the New England Forestry Foundation is requesting an exemption as a charitable organization. Historically, this has not been approved as charitable. Any
particular
discussion?
reason?
Yeah, they don't, they're not out there like public radio helping the public. So, they log land, they're a nonprofit in that they use up any monies in, forestry fees and whatever. Timber cruises and everything that they do, which is fine. And they do not develop the land, but it is land that is used for forestry, and they're generating income from it. So I would like to see them, pay the nominal taxes that they're charged on that forestry land.
Gotcha.
I'll make a motion to deny that application for charitable organization or charitable
I will second.
exemption, sorry.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Yes to
Denying it.
deny. Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes to deny as well.
Bennett, I vote yes to deny. Okay, the request for a status as a charitable foundation is denied to the New England Forestry Foundation. All right. I think the next item is trustees of the trust funds. We have funding. The Jackson Selectmen authorized the transfer of $119,000 to be deposited into the capital reserve funds and expendable trust funds per the warrant articles listed below. Fire truck, that is a capital reserve fund 0003, Article 4 in the warrant for $80,000. Heavy highway vehicle capital reserve fund 0068, Article 4 for $30,000. Dry hydrant expendable trust fund 0049, Article 5, $500. Police Department equipment expendable trust fund 0051, Article 5, $3,000. Fire Department expendable trust fund 0046, Article 5 for $3,000. Maloon Road Groundwater Expendable Trust Fund 0071, Article 5 for $2,000. And Town Office Equipment Expendable Trust Fund 0047, Article 5 for $500. That comes to a total of $119,000.
I'll make a motion to amend those trust funds.
And I will second.
All right, moved and seconded. John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. All righty. The second part of that is withdrawal from the trust funds. Dear trustees, the Board of Selectmen are requesting the following withdrawals from the trust funds as indicated below. $2,512 from the Police Department Equipment Expendable Trust Fund 0051. We have an attached order number 16837 dated April 17th, 2020 from Sound Uniform Solutions. $25.96 from the Wentworth Wildcat Fund 0029 with an invoice 322052 dated August 8th, 2020 from Lucy Hardware. Any discussion on those two withdrawals? Hearing none, may I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the two withdrawals.
I will second.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. So we have approved those. Okay, then the next agenda item is the idea of whether we would like to get the land surveyed at the Jackson Falls so that it is clearly delineated, Wentworth property, town easement and town property. I think it'd be important for the ongoing, as we duke it out up there at the falls and along the Carter Notch Road, parking and everything, if we have it pretty well spelled out as to who is what is where.
What area exactly
that
are
is
you
just
looking at?
That's a discussion items.
So what
I'm
area,
sorry, Barbara.
my bad. What area are we looking to survey when you say Jackson Falls?
Okay, it would be, I think the important part would be from the Stone Bridge
Mhm.
up to the, what is, I call the dance studio, the Wentworth building next to where the snow roller
Right,
and the informational plaques are.
gotcha.
So I believe the way it goes is it's Wentworth property from the Stone Bridge for a certain distance, and then it is town easement property up into someplace around the dance studio, and then it is back to Wentworth, and then how the easement runs along the river, I'm not sure. I believe that the Wentworth has the land where their gazebo is, and then Jackson has an easement on the island that is just off of that. And then up to the falls, I think it's pretty clear that Jackson has an easement, but I'm not sure how clearly delineated those spaces are. So I think it's something to consider for the future. I think it may help us, just clarify, who and how we are going to regulate the parking and the use and how it's going to flow along there.
And then do we know how much the cost would be for the survey?
No, I brought this up just to see if it was an idea that should be pursued. I think the next thing would be to see if we can get either a fixed price or a general price for having a surveyor come in and do that.
I think it makes sense with all that's been discussed over the last few months. I'd like to know how much it costs, obviously, but it makes sense.
All right. Well,
I agree.
I think, John, what do you think?
I agree. I think, we got to find out how much it is. And of course, if it's, too much, we'll have to put it on a warrant article, but.
Right. And, we just went through, we approved the blazing of the property lines up at Prospect Farm, which was a great idea and it was fairly reasonable. I don't know. I think that the deeds are pretty clear in specifying the points and bounds of the easement and the Wentworth property. So it hopefully would be fairly straightforward, and we just have the opportunity to really nail it down and say what is what. And then maybe we can have a little bit for the Wentworth and for us to have a little better control over what is going on over there. So I'll see what it's going to cost to have a surveyor give us that information. I certainly would not move ahead without further discussion.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
All right. let's see. Oh, then we have the next agenda item is process for resident committees for the short-term rentals and also the use of Jackson Falls. Now, we've had a lot of input. My personal opinion is to have my dog start barking, is to have the residents come together, have some discussions, and bring forward what they think is a process for us, not as much of a process, but some ideas of how we're going to treat the falls and short-term rentals for the future. It will all come to town meeting. It will have to be voted on, but I would like the residents to form the committees out of, maybe we'll take names at the office, but then put them together so they would have discussions and bring their ideas forward. Thank you.
I think that's a good idea, and I also think that people need to form these committees knowing that there should be a grand purpose to the meeting, to the committee, with recommendations, not complaints, like complaints with resolution or suggestions. That's why a committee is formed, I guess, to make recommendations and to come up with feasible ideas on how to keep our town safe and preserved. And I
That
think,
is absolutely accurate, Barbara.
do
We know there's the complaints, but
Mhm.
we need to get some ideas on how to fix it, how to make it better.
Right. And so I think the best thing too would be to submit a letter of interest to the select office with names. I know there were a few people that spoke on the last meeting that said they would love to be part of the committee. So we can definitely put this in the minutes and ask for volunteers to submit letters of interest and then take it from there as far as the committees being formed. These will not have select representatives. They'll be resident committees, like you said.
Okay, and then on the, so that would be a process for the residents to come together and, as you said, come up with ideas. We know that there's complaints, and I feel, strongly about the complaints, but now we have to come up with the ideas. So hopefully that's how it'll move forward.
I was thinking about
Right.
the falls, and maybe that's something that the Conservation Commission can be part of or direct or help or have some information on too.
Well, if
Great idea.
one of the members or all of the members of the Conservation Commission want to come forward and put their names in for that committee or to have input to that committee, that would be great. I still would like to see plenty of other residents. The Conservation Commission has been doing a great job of, making the falls a very usable place, but we have to be mindful that it's like the more they do, the more people would come in. So let's be careful what we ask for here. Anyway, yep, they've been involved. They do a great job, and I'd like them to keep going with their work, but we'll have to see, does this just add to the burden of the area, or are we actually saving the ecology of the area? Okay. The next agenda item are the Department of Revenue Administration, MS 434 and MS1. I think these have been discussed.
Yeah.
They
We're
need
just-
to be submitted, and I think we have to vote to accept them.
Yeah, we're waiting for them to be received, and then once they're received, we'll review and upload them. So they're pushing up against the deadline, but they're not late. So we're just waiting for those to come in.
Okay, Julie Atwell, are you available?
She is, hold on a second, I can. Okay,
Hello?
hold on, I'm trying to ask her to unmute. Okay. She is on the line, but I'm. Boy, last meeting I couldn't get anyone to mute, and now I can't get her to unmute. Ask to unmute. There, I just did that. For some reason, it's not letting me unmute her.
Why couldn't this have worked for Pearlie when he was on?
Right. Well, anyway, whatever, if they're available, if the finals are available for our approval, I guess we could come in and sign them. And if they are in order, I guess we can't vote ahead of time.
Right.
These will be submitted and they need to be approved. Well, we can try it. Why don't we try to approve them? Okay.
Did it work?
Yeah. Now you're on.
Okay,
You're
I'm here.
unmuted.
Okay, I'm here.
Julie Atwell.
I'm here, yes.
Well, did you follow the line on the MS 434 and the MS1?
Well, I was trying to unmute. So what was the question for me?
Oh, well, are they ready to go or?
No, they're
Can
not
we-
ready to go. They're not quite ready to go yet, but as soon as they come in, I just want to get a conditional approval so that when they do come in, you guys can come in and sign it. We can get them off to the Department of Revenue. The MS 434 is just the revised revenues that I'll be going over with our accounting firm. And then the MS1, once Jason Call, the assessor, gives the okay, we'll be submitting that property data to DRA.
Okay, then I think if we make a conditional approval and then go into the office to sign them when they're fully ready, we won't have to take another vote. So I would entertain a motion to give a conditional approval
So
to
moved.
our submittals to the DRA.
And I'll second.
Thanks. John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Barbara?
I vote yes. And Julie,
Bennett, yes.
what is the, oh, I'm sorry, Dick. Julie, what is the date those are due? September?
They're both due September 1st. Revised revenues will be submitted then. Jason may need a few more days to gather all the data. We have a little bit of flexibility on that, but the actual due date is September 1st.
Okay.
All righty.
Dick, there's one other item before we move on. There was a letter that was asked to be read into the minutes from Heath Doucette.
Yes, I was going to do that under the short-term rental
You got it.
We're going to deal with the resubmitted applications, particularly one from Hayes on Dundee Road that deals with the meals and room tax ID number. And since that's the next section of our discussion, I will read that letter I have, or unless you'd like to read it.
I'll be happy
Nope.
to. Sure.
All right, that'd be great.
This is to the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board from Heath Doucette. I noticed a planning board discussion of whether or not to require a meals and room license for permits due to some operators only using Airbnb and Airbnb collecting and remitting taxes to the state. Since the town's permit process is a multi-step process involving both boards, I am sending this to both boards for edification. The state requires all STR operators under 185 days to obtain an M&R license regardless of who and how collection and remittances are made. It's also a requirement that operators display that license prominently in the property and on all advertising. Obtaining an M&R license is extremely easy, requires no fee, and can be done entirely online in under 10 minutes. The license automatically renews annually, but does not renew on the same date for all operators. The operator is required to file a return monthly, and it was incorrectly stated that they file quarterly. And there is an option for an operator to register as a seasonal filer for those who only rent a few months of every year. In short, obtaining an M&R license is the baseline requirement by the state and for any permitting process the town institutes. This information is available on the New Hampshire DRA website, https://www.revenue.nh.gov, easily accessible to all, and the department maintains a very friendly and helpful staff for telephone inquiries. I think issues like these that come up frequently in meetings could be quickly resolved if short-term rental operators were consulted. To date, the town has made no notification to taxpayers of the new amendments and requirements and has not contacted or solicited advice from operators. I believe the town's intent is to make notification via the next tax bill, which would be issued in November. I've heard so many misstatements during the meetings that require much time and discussion by the boards. I find as a taxpayer to be disconcerting. It seems highly inefficient to operate in this manner. I and a group of full-time resident operators have informed many out-of-town operators of their new requirements, and all have been perplexed as to why they were not contacted by the town. It would behoove the town to step up the notification process considerably and not leave it up to residents to inform out-of-town taxpayers of their responsibilities. Sincerely, Heath Doucette. Where should we start?
Well, I mean, that's an opinion from an operator and certainly valid. As far as we're just getting started on this whole process of trying to make it legal to run a business in the rural residential area. So as we refine our mandates for short-term rentals, I think a lot of issues will come out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're certainly, you know, it's a floating thing. I mean, we're not, this isn't the only way to do it. I mean, we tried to come up with wording that would make it possible for short-term rentals to be in our town. And now we're running into, you know, both sides, operators, as he says, and local residents that are being impacted by this. So, yeah, we'll try to smooth it out.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. I mean, we had one application that did not have a meals and room tax number that was denied at our last meeting. And I would vote to deny them again because they have a letter in that says Airbnb takes care of that tax money. And that's not the way it works. I mean, yes, they use Airbnb, and that's fine. If Airbnb, if their cut of the action becomes too much, they move to another venue. They may not take out taxes. So I think it's on our application that you have a meals and room tax number.
Right.
And I'm going to say that I think that's really important. It's voluntary. That's the thing. I mean, nobody is coming around and checking on you to see if, you know, how many rentals you had. You're pretty much on the honor system. So go ahead and get the number and whatever, you know, that way, once you have the permit from the town,
Mhm.
you don't have to go through Airbnb. You can go to any venue you want.
Mhm. I'd like to make a couple comments, and then I also know that Bill Terry is on the line and would like to make a couple comments as well. As far as the paragraph said, that started that the issues come up frequently in meetings could be resolved if short-term rental operators were consulted. And I would like to say that there were planning board meetings for at least the past year and a half to discuss the application, the conditional use permit that was put together. Legal was consulted many times, and anyone could have been invited to those meetings. This conditional use permit was also voted on at town meeting, so it was not something that was issued haphazardly without voters and taxpayers being aware. Voters being aware, but all meetings for the planning board and select board are public meetings. So I think as a taxpayer, the responsibility also falls on both sides to inform and stay informed. So I will leave it at that. And Dick, if you're okay with it, I'll unmute Bill Terry so he can make some comments.
Yes, that'd be fine.
Okay. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Barbara. Hi, Dick. Hi, John. I sent an email.
Okay, this is Bill Terry.
Bill Terry.
Sorry.
Yes.
Terry, I correct myself, from the planning board, and I'm looking forward to hearing from him.
Okay. I wanted to respond to the first part of the letter, and that is that I agree, Barbara, thank you for mentioning that we held multiple public hearings. We obtained quite a bit of information from STR operators when we put together this whole process, and we listened very carefully to a lot of folks, including our legal counsel, as to what was and was not required and what we could and could not do. I agree with Dick that it's not perfect. It's a process. We've come to do what we've done based on our best effort with what we knew. We expect that changes, and we said as we put it in place that we expected additional changes to occur as we learn more, perhaps as the state legislature passed different laws associated with short-term rentals and all that. It's an ongoing process. It's not complete, but we do have an ordinance in place, and the ordinance we do have in place does require that individuals submit their applications and we obtain approval from the select board for operating a short-term rental. Regarding the Airbnb, very specifically, there is an instruction from the state, and it's not easily found, but it was issued in August of 2017, specifically for Airbnb hosts and we did talk about this when we put this together, Airbnb hosts are not required to maintain a separate M&R license if they exclusively use Airbnb as their operator. And the state made that exception, and they documented it I have provided the link, which you're welcome to post in your minutes, please. But basically it says that they would actually relinquish their license if they had one prior to the August 2017, in lieu of Airbnb having that licensing. What I'm not clear about, and Dick, you are absolutely correct in saying if they have both Airbnb and not Airbnb, they have to have the M&R license. But if they do Airbnb exclusively, they do not, and the state does not require it, nor can we require it of them, unless they do use multiple operators.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot extend our requirements beyond what the state allows. We cannot add additional requirements beyond what the state requires for M&R. So in that respect, the information that was provided by Heath Doucette is inaccurate in that it applies to anyone other than Airbnb, unfortunately, and it's, again, it's not easy to see. If you go to the site that he's referring to, everywhere you look, he's exactly right, except for the one exception. So I just point that out, and the thing I'm not clear about, and that is whether or not we have to require them to provide the Airbnb M&R or the whatever licensing or documentation that Airbnb has between themselves and the state. And I think the answer is that we cannot, but I don't know how we prove that they have a relationship only with Airbnb. And I think if that's what they're attesting to as in an affidavit,
Mm-hmm.
we have to believe that that's what they have.
Right.
I open it, leave it open to discussion, and I will mute myself back.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, if they have to
All
sign
right,
an
well,
affidavit, Airbnb.
I thank Bill for his research on that subject. It is one of those ethereal things that's kind of floating around. I don't know why the state would try to handcuff us, but so be it. We can't do anything without them.
The Airbnb operator is signing an affidavit with that company saying that they're solely using them. Can we get a copy of that for our file so we have a record of it?
Yes, I think we should have
Yes.
a paper trail of anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
And just also to respond to that, we are sending out notification with the next tax bills.
right. I mean, I agree with Bill. I mean, we discussed this at the planning board level for quite a long time. In public meetings, we had operators in with multiple properties. These aren't just, people with a second home who are renting it when they're not there. These are, people that have multiple properties that they're renting on short-term basis as a business. So, and we listen to them, and that's what we're continuing to do. We listen to what comes into us, and I think we do a very good job. We certainly vetted our ordinance extensively before we brought it to the town, and it was voted on. And I don't know how much more public you can become or how much more notification. If you're that interested, then get in there and go to the town meeting. That's where it happens. We're really lucky we have that process in this state. And, you know, you really get to feel a part of what goes on in your town. So great. Step out and be a part of it.
And the ordinance can be amended in any future town meeting,
Right.
that issues come up on. It's not cast in stone. I mean, it is somewhat morphing as we learn and work with on these situations.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have version 2.
So let's
All
hear
right.
from
Well, I think that's a good discussion and a good discussion on that letter that came to us. And now we have the resubmitted applications. The first one from Harvey at 7 Balsam Drive. They updated their advertising to a maximum of 6. I think that conforms with their septic. And I think, is Kevin Bennett with us today?
Yes. Hold on just a second here.
See, we'll bring him in on this.
Yeah, let me see if I can unmute him.
Because he should be here for these and then
Yes.
the next section of building permits.
Kevin, are you unmuted or can you unmute? 383.
Did *6 work?
There's a button that says ask to unmute, and when I click that, Kevin, is your number ending at 4348? I'm just trying to get that. I think it does, but I'm baffled. 4383. You know, he may not be on here. He may not be on the call anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, I believe that we can accept the Harvey in that they've updated their advertising to a maximum of 6.
And I'll
Can I
make a
get
motion to approve that application.
I will second.
Okay, John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Barbara?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, Hayes, this is the, you know, I guess I still want to say I'm happy to give them a permit, but I would like to see either a meals and room number from them or some document from Airbnb that they have a exclusive, and whatever number they use, they must have a number if it's a deal with the state. So what is that application? So I'd like to hold on that until we get some further documentation.
I agree. And this one probably won't be the first one that we see if there are other short-term rental owners that use exclusively Airbnb. So they said, Julie is saying that they did send a letter from Airbnb, but I'm looking at the licensing requirements. But I don't think that's what it is. Juliet, well, you are still unmuted. Do you know when it was sent or?
Yeah, Julie Hoyt forwarded an email from you, or from that was from Airbnb talking about that they were registered through them.
Oh, I see it now.
Well,
Okay, yeah, I mean, I see that letter that says that, and it's directed to the owner that says Airbnb has entered into a voluntary collection agreement, et cetera, et cetera. So it does not list the number on there of that, you know, the number on the, for Airbnb in the state of New Hampshire. So, you know, I think we can read it over further and see that they're, they can go online and give a transaction history and a proof, I guess. I'm not sure what else we would want to have.
John, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, as long as we have documentation, I think the state's going to collect it their way anyway. So
Yeah,
So do you want to give it an approval?
yeah, I'm fine with that. So we can just keep that letter on file, so we know that they are indeed registered somehow with the state and paying taxes.
right.
All right,
Yeah.
well, maybe one of the places that we pursue and try to clean up, if people start just claiming, oh, Airbnb, you know, let's get a number and, you know, see if we can get some documentation from either the state or Airbnb on, you know, just how many rentals or what kind of money is being paid in, and we can backtrack it to see if that kind of correlates with what we see as use of any one property. So should we take a vote to approve the Hayes short-term rental application?
I'll make a motion to approve that application.
And I'll second.
John, how do you vote?
Oh, yes.
Barbara?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, then we have two new applications, one from Lisa and Alexander Payne, 30-2 High Pastures West. I haven't heard any reason not to approve that. I think Kevin would have gotten some word to us if there was a problem that he knew of. Doesn't mean that it's not there, but
Julie, do you know of
haven't seen it
anything that Kevin had brought up on these?
I have not heard.
Okay.
okay, then I'd say we entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the permit for the Lisa and Alexander Payne at 30-2 High Pastures West.
I'll second.
John, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Barbara?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. We have another application from Kim Horrigan, 62 Thornhill Road. Haven't heard any reason not to approve this.
I'll make a motion to approve that application for the Horrigans at 62 Thornhill Road.
I will second.
John, how do you vote?
Oh, yes.
Barbara?
I vote yes.
Bennett, yes. Okay, then we'll move on to building permits. We still don't have Kevin Bennett, so I will just read them. We have one from, let's see, V8 lot 224, narrow 36 Middle Mountain Road. We have one from R12, lot 183, at 291 Carter Notch Road. Did have a question on that. It says remodel a gutted 24 by 36 cape with the breezeway and garage. Okay, was the gutted part, was there a permit for that? Or did they just go ahead and do that? And because that's one of the places where you do asbestos
Yeah.
inspection and other contaminants, but anyway, I don't know. We have another permit at V10, lot 13C, is 12 Alpine Drive. V2, lot 10S1, C10, 16 New Madbury. Ooh, we've got a bunch of them. All right, V2, lot 102C at 17C Wentworth Hall. V2, lot 10D, 6D, 13D Holland Lane. V2, lot 10, 17B at 14B Georgia Lane. V2, lot 10. I think these might all be in at Wentworth Hall. Yeah, that's Wentworth Hall Avenue. Okay, R11, lot 13 is 170 Iron Mountain Road. And let's see, V1, lot 35, Main Street is a sign permit. Lot 7, R7, lot 6, 937 Carter Notch Road. So there's 11 new building permits submitted to the building inspector, and he's put them forward. So I'm going to say they're probably all in order.
Dick, I'm going
Any-
to back up. Could we back up for just a second on the Horrigan short-term rental
Yep.
permit? They are advertising for 13 people and it should only be 10. So I think we should deny that and back up. I just got this information. Back up,
Okay.
either conditionally or disapprove it until their advertising is changed.
Yes, we did that for
The
Harvey.
Right.
They updated theirs. So let's take a vote to change our position to a denial for Horrigan at 62 Thornhill Road.
I'll make a motion to deny that request from Horrigan on 62 Thornhill Road.
I will second that, and based off of the occupancy limit.
John, how do you vote?
Oh, yes.
Barbara, how do you vote?
I vote yes to deny.
Bennett, yes to deny, and have them upgrade their advertising to conform with our approved septic standards. Thank you for bringing that up, Barbara.
Yeah, thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, so then we've been through the building permits. Now we have the upcoming meetings. It was printed that there was going to be a meeting on the 8th of September, but that's canceled because of the voting. We will have a hearing on the 15th, and it's not a
It's a
not a meeting.
public
It's
hearing,
just,
right?
it's just a public hearing to accept monies that was left to the police department and the fire department. And we accepted into the trust. So that's September 8th is not a meeting.
Mhm.
We have an election. The next meeting scheduled is the 22nd, and that will be by Zoom at 4 o'clock.
And the only other last thing I would like to say and put in the notes as well is that we still need volunteers for the election day on September 8th. So if anyone is interested in volunteering either for the morning session, the afternoon session, or to be a ballot counter after 7 o'clock, please contact Julie Hoyt at the town office. It's very tough this year because, first of all, we have 2 elections, and secondly, we have this thing called COVID that has made many of our volunteers hesitant about, the regular volunteers hesitant about stepping up this year. So we appreciate their service in the past, but we definitely need more folks this year.
And then my only question is there a hearing for the Jackson Water Precinct?
I do not know that.
Nothing is scheduled yet for the water precinct.
Okay, because that's going to be for us to accept the, is it a land swap or?
It's
Anyway.
to approve their boundary changes, and I got more information on that today. So we'll need to discuss when we want to do that. Our hearing is completely separate from what they do after that, but I can I'll get more details.
Okay, maybe we could do that at the 15th.
We won't have enough time to send out notices to all of the people that it affects, but we can do it in the near future.
Are we sending out those notices or is the water precinct?
I got confirmation today that we will send out notices about the hearing, but they don't have to be certified like we thought. And then I believe that the water precinct may possibly have to send out their own notices, but as far as our hearing, it's a different requirement.
All righty. Well, I think we've covered everything that was on the agenda for this meeting. What do you think?
I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second that.
John, how do you vote on that?
Oh, yes.
Barbara, what do you think?
I vote yes, and thanks for everyone who participated and joined today.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Bennett, yes. And with that, we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.